What is up, guys? My name of course is Carlo. Welcome yet to another video, and yeah, I thought I'm going to answer a question today. It's quite strange because the question I'm going to read out to you is a question that I was thinking about answering on a video yesterday, which was quite funny. Somebody asked me this question, but it was a question I was going to answer in an upcoming video anyway. It sounds a bit odd. So before we get cracking, as you can, I've got to change the scenery today. We've got beautiful weather outside, so I thought I'd do this little video outside sitting in the garden, which is cool. So the question comes from Ban Santa, and it basically states, how can I learn visual effects fully? Well, the answer is quite simple to that. You can't. How can I put it? You know, if you want to get started in visual effects and into video editing, the first thing I would suggest you guys do is make sure you go out and get yourself a camera first. Knowing the positioning of a camera is vital. Knowing how to operate a camera, knowing how to control ISO, knowing how to control shutter speed, all that sort of stuff is vital before you get into the learning of visual effects. Now obviously we all know that the signature program for visual effects is After Effects. It's the most literally the most popular one on YouTube, but I would suggest, if you're on a budget and you haven't got the money to learn After Effects, because it is a monthly subscription, you can download a trial from Adobe. They give you a 30-day trial, which you can basically register, create an account, and use the 30-day free of charge to see if you like it, see if you can get the hang of it. If you feel like, no, I don't really want to spend that sort of money on a subscription, then you can go down the Hitfilm route. Now, Hitfilm has an express version, which is absolutely free. It is limited over Pro, but it can still do a hell of a lot when it comes to visual effects. So if you're new to visual effects, I suggest starting at the bottom. Get yourself either After Effects on a subscription if you've got the money for it, but obviously if you're on a budget and you haven't got the money, I would say go for Hitfilm Express and study with that. Now on YouTube there's tons of tutorials regarding Hitfilm Express. Even if you go excuse me, on the Hitfilm website, it's jam-packed with video tutorials so you can learn it. But I would suggest literally, you know, start at the bottom and then work your way up. Even to start off with the basic things like learning how to create text and 3D text and stuff like that, learning about layers, learning about tracking, you know, all the sort of basic stuff that you're probably more or less more than other, shall I say, use in a visual effects shot. Most popular things you'll use in a visual effects shot is tracking, especially if you're compositing, say for instance a 3D image or 3D solid. Sorry, I've got a puppy here. Even if you're tracking a 3D object into a scene, tracking is always going to pop up most of the time. You'll find that no matter what visual effects you do when you're using After Effects, you're going to be using the tracking features. So I would suggest, you know, start off with tracking, start off with using text. That's how I started off. I mean, I'm not a professional, and going back to the question that was asked, learning it fully, you'll never learn it fully. Nobody's ever 100%, because it's like, oh, I don't know, say for instance this puppy here, yeah, he could have been born with any type of market, a million, quadrillion, billion types, different types of markings could have happened to this pup. You know, he could have had brown over there, he could have black over here. You know, it's the same with visual effects. I know that sounds a bit of a sort of shoddy way of explaining it, but visual effects is limitless in a sense, so you'll never learn it fully. No one will ever learn it fully. You'll be able to problem solve quicker, and you'll be able to problem solve better once you get with the hang of it. But there's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be something that you're not going to be able to do. You know, even the big guys like Andrew Kramer, so on and so on, still have to figure things out when it comes to, especially when it comes to After Effects. Now, obviously, when it comes to visual effects, there's multiple types of programs you can use. I mean, you can use layer-based, which is like After Effects. You can use node-based compositors, which is like Nuke and Fusion. It all depends on what route you want to go down. Now, I do suggest if you're learning compositing and visual effects that you try and see if you can study both. Obviously, Nuke is quite expensive to buy, so I would say go down the route of getting the free version of Fusion on the Blackmagic website, and I will post links in the description below so you can find these free pieces of software. Download the free version of Fusion so you can play around with node-based compositing and node-based visual effects, and yeah, download the trial version of After Effects. If you've never used After Effects before, I suggest, you know, download the trial version. Go on the internet and go on YouTube. There's so many worthwhile tutorials, including on this channel as well, that you can find helpful tips and tricks to get you going. But I would suggest, and I would always recommend, don't try and run before you can walk, because you'll just confuse yourself, and you won't learn anything. If you start at the bottom with the basics, I mean, there is plenty of tutorials online. Say for instance the After Effects basics, I suggest you watch videos that are based around, you know, explaining the overall program itself, and what each tab does, what each window does, so on and so on, and just basically going from there. It's about, you know, knowing your way around After Effects, because once you know your way around it, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to put two and two together to create what you want to create. It's a weird question. Well, it's not a weird question, it's a great question. But like I just said, and I've said a couple of times, you'll never learn it fully. Anyone that turns around and says they know After Effects inside out, yeah, don't listen to that. There's no way you can learn it inside out, because it's ongoing. Visual effects is ongoing, and there's always a new effect that you can create, you know. So I just said, with this puppy, he could have been born any colour, with his markings on any parts of his body. There's a quadrillion million possibilities that could have happened with his markings on him, and I think you need to look at that the same sort of way as After Effects. There's so many possibilities in After Effects, and so many things you can do in After Effects that it's limitless. Just put them down. It literally is limitless on what you can do. So I'm just going to get a drink, it's quite hot. So, you know, if you want to, you know, get yourself, you know, in the industry, obviously make sure you know what you're doing. Start off with, make sure you know the basics. You don't want to make yourself look like a moron in front of people that have hired you. You know, only say yes if you can do it. Study hard. There's plenty of places you can go to learn. I mean, if you want to take it really, really seriously, there's websites like Digital Tutors. We'll post a link in the description below. It is a paid service, but their courses are absolutely humongous and superb at the same time. I have done quite a few Digital Tutors lessons, so you'll go through from basic to intermediate. So you're doing, in essence, like if you was to go to college. So you'll start at the basics in Digital Tutors, and then you'll follow the courses step by step as you go along, and then as you complete the courses you can sort of mark yourself to how well you do, so on and so on. So Digital Tutors is a really, really good one to go on. like I've just said, there's plenty of YouTube channels you can go on, like Film Riot, Video Copilot, which specialise in film and visual effects tutorials. If you want to start learning Hitfilm, then Film Riot does a lot of Hitfilm stuff. Hitfilm itself, the official Hitfilm YouTube channel, does a lot of visual effects tutorials for you guys you can learn and study. But start at the bottom. I'll always recommend that you start low. It is good because you see all these amazing effects that you want to try and create, and it is fun to start with a difficult one. But I would say don't run before you can walk, otherwise it will just confuse you. After Effects in general, when you're creating an After Effects, is literally like making a sandwich. If I want to try and explain it to you like that, I'm not going to get a piece of bread and get a ham and then put ice cream on top of the ham, because it ain't going to taste nice, is it? After Effects is very much like that. You want to make sure you get the taste right, and if you're getting the taste right in between them two slices of bread, by the time you get to the top slice, that's your render. You should be good to go. So think of it, After Effects, like that. I mean, I don't know if that's a decent way of explaining it. It should be. That's how it was explained to me. Programs like New Confusion is like building a tree until you get to the top, and once you get to the top, the render results, you would say, is the blooming of the tree. I hope I'm making sense with this and I'm sounding like a right idiot, but I would say, yeah, just study it and be confident with it. Trial and error. I think it's a case of just getting the program and just opening it and experimenting. Experimenting is quite important. Just play around with it and you should be fine. Getting used to the program itself, getting used to knowing where everything is, and where all the tabs and all the effects panels, and you know, your window layouts and your renderers, so on and so on. Playing around with it will get you used to that sort of stuff, and the more used to you get of the program itself, the simpler in creating visual effects will become. I hope that's made sense to you guys, and I hope that's answered this question for you. Yeah, I really do hope it's answered this question. I know it's not as detailed as I would have liked to have made it, but I think what I'm saying sort of makes sense, and will make sense to a lot of visual effects artists out there that already do it. You're never going to be 100% at it. You're never going to be the best at it. There's not a case of one's better than the other. It's basically all down to imagination and creativity at the end of the day. It all depends on how creative you are in the field of visual effects. So as always guys, if you have enjoyed this video, thanks for watching. Smash that like button, and as always, I'll definitely catch you in the next video. Ciao ciao.